What's the deal?
What's the deal? My name is Jay Esplana. I'm a musician based out of Vancouver, BC. And I'm here making as much noise as I can on as many instruments as possible. Music for me started at the ripe young age of 4 years old. Being born and raised into a particularly musical family, none who were professionals, I should say. But there was just always music in the house. Everyone was a really good singer. I just took on the genes of my dad's family and my dad's musical habits around the house. So as some may know, the national sport of the Philippines is karaoke. So we had a karaoke machine at the house, or we had karaoke tapes. So my dad was constantly singing. I remember him telling me the story where he was just singing his karaoke tunes, and I was still a toddler, and I just kind of came up to him, and he'd always put me in his lap while he was singing karaoke. And then one day I grew old enough to actually kind of vocalize, and he noticed me singing what he was singing from the corner of the room, and he kind of looked at me, he's like, okay, we've got something here. And since then, he's been living vicariously through me. And so, apart from that, I haven't found anything else that I'm good at. So, the performances started at 5 years old, and it started with my parents putting me into just a talent competition at the Plaza of Nations. For those that remember, it was a Philippine Independence Day thing, and I went up and I did a couple of tunes, and that's where it started. I won a trophy, and my parents saw something in me. I'll break it down to this. I mean, at home, we had just VHSs of karaoke tapes, and as a young kid, I didn't have all the toys and I didn't have bikes and toys and cartoons and all that stuff that most kids grew up with. I grew up literally with the videotapes that were on the shelf, and those were karaoke tapes. And a lot of them were instrumentals. So I was watching like the lady running across the beach to, into an embrace, but I was listening to the instrumentals of all these songs that my dad would sing. And I remember just kind of sitting next to the TV and just listening and being compelled by all the different sounds I was hearing. I mean, I think that's really what struck my curiosity. I was like, what are those sounds? How could I make that happen on my Casio keyboard that my aunt bought me for my 6th birthday? And since then, really, the curiosity has never stopped. It's kind of a funny story, but don't buy your kids Disney tapes and they'll become musicians. So that's kind of how it started for me. I hit puberty, and for boys hitting puberty, I mean, your range starts like this, and you can sing all the notes in the scale, and then you hit puberty and it's like, and so that was probably for me about 12, 13. I was still really interested in music, but not singing. It was really not a thing anymore. I didn't like it. And I started playing instruments at church, and I would go to 3 masses a week, and I'd be playing different instruments at every mass. I'd play piano one mass, and then I'd play bass the next, and then I'd play drums. And so it was an easy way for me, actually. It was just such a good foundation for me as a young musician. I really had, the stakes were low, and if you were kind of good, you stuck out, and it was free. And there were a lot of sort of similarly aged people there. So it was a good excuse to sort of build a community, to be part of something. And since then, I haven't stopped. One of my favorite things about being a rhythm section player is that you have an opportunity to play with so many different musicians and to be in a supporting role. I think anybody who's considering a solo career deserves themselves an opportunity to be in a supporting role, or could take that opportunity as a learning experience. I mean, so much of what I think I would like to be isn't just an amalgamation of everything that has come my way just by proxy, just by virtue of playing other people's music, being in different venues and experiencing it from a bit of a distance. What motivates me is the variety. So much of what I do is in seclusion, in solitary, but I've been realizing that some of my favorite moments have been taking that stuff that I've been kind of crafting by myself and then putting it out into the world. And there's no feeling like taking something that you've created, especially when you've created, all the different facets of it, and then you could give it to people that you trust, and they hold it in a really sort of trusting way, in a very careful manner, and they play it with just as much intent as you had intended, So that's been really rewarding. And ever since I've been pursuing sort of my own sort of solo stuff, I just can't get enough of that. It inspires me to write more, to grind. The creative process it's a pain. It's brutal because you're self-conscious. Not everything is stuff that you like, but I'm learning as I go along that nothing's too simple, nothing's too stupid, and you just go for something. Because really, it's for that stuff to come to you, it's free. Nobody asked you to do it, and it's just like, keep your eyes open and your ears peeled. Your ears open, your eyes peeled, for more live performances. So yeah, a lot more Esplana to come.